everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I'm going to be doing a quick recommendation video. I put up a video a while ago of Grumpy Sunshine, said I was going to do part 2 and I kept delaying it, so I'm sorry, but now I'm gonna link it my previous video down below. But I wanted to give you some more of my Grumpy Sunshine recs. These are some of my favorite ones. I do read a lot of Grumpy Sunshine, so I'm sure there's more to come, but these are some of my other favorites that I have. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So the first one that I have is one of my favorite Sophie Lark books, and that is Stolen Heir. This is a mafia romance in the Brutal Birthright series, and this is between Miko and Nessa. And Miko is a grump. He has gone through a lot in his life. You know, he went through trauma at a very young age and then went into the mafia and kind of got his revenge that way. And his kind of like his, it was almost like his father figure, the mafia boss. I believe this was Polish mafia, but his boss was killed by somebody from the previous book in Brutal Prince, and so he wants revenge against them. And so he ends up kidnapping Nessa, and she is part of the Griffins. Which is the Irish mafia, but she doesn't really involve in the mafia. They kind of keep her separate from that. She's a ballerina, and she, you know, is pretty much their innocent good girl. So he kidnaps her, but he doesn't take responsibility or tell anybody about it, so that to watch them freak out and go crazy trying to find Nessa. And this is kind of basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I mean, he's not beastly, he's super hot, but he's got tattoos over his whole body, which makes him even hotter. But he's a pretty angry, grumpy, stoic guy, and he kidnaps her. He lives in this kind of gothic mansion, and so she's there, and she ends up kind of bonding with him. She's this sunshine, beautiful, positive woman, and she's just brings light into his life and breaks down his walls. And he's just, they're one of my favorite couples out of the series. And so it was really cool because she ends up doing a kind of a Beauty and the Beast opera, and she creates it while she's living there. He ends up like kind of putting her first over what's going on, and so his men are not okay with that. But Miko loves her and falls for her, and it's just really, really beautiful. But, you know, starting out, he's very grumpy. He's very, like, angry and bitter about what happened to him and what happened to his boss and wanting revenge. So I love this book. I definitely recommend it. Obviously, I would say start from the beginning with Brutal Prince and read through the Brutal Birthright series. But I love Stolen Heir. It's one of my favorite ones. So the next one that I want to bring up is A Daughter of No One by Carissa Broadbent. I still need to continue with this series, but it really stood out to me was the character Max in this. This is a story of Max and Tisana. Tisana was actually sold kind of into slavery at a very young age. This is a fantasy romance. It's a little bit slow build and not a lot of romance, but I think it is a romance. But a lot of people said it wasn't like, you know, enough romance or smutty enough, but I don't think you go into fantasy for those things. So I still think it's a really good book. It's really good world building. It's in depth. It's really beautiful. And so Tisana ends up killing her master because she earned money to free herself, like he told her she would have to, but then he doesn't let her go, and she ends up killing him accidentally with her power. And so she does have powers, and she ends up going on the run to the people that get trained by them, and Max ends up being the one to train her with her powers and everything. And Max is very grumpy. He does not want to help her. He's basically cut off from like not wanting to do what these people want anymore. He went through a lot of trauma in his past and kind of what he went through. And so he doesn't want to be a part of that. But he slowly like lets her in and like sees Tisana and helps her. And just their slow build of a relationship is just really beautiful. She's, you know, even though she's been through so many hard times, she's more positive and light, and he's just very negative about everything. But she makes a dent on him, and they have such a beautiful romance, and he really wants to protect her from going through the same things that he went through. And so I haven't finished the series, so I'm not sure, but I heard it's so good, like, after it continues, so I'm hoping to continue that soon. The next one that I have is Last Light by Claire Kent. Claire Kent is another new favorite author of mine. Like, I've really loved this series. And then she's got the Kindle. Well, this is Last Light. It's a standalone. And then she's got the Kindled series, which I really enjoy. This is between Travis and Lane, and it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world. So I think there was like asteroid that hit in like Europe, and so it had long-lasting effects, and so people were like really sick. You know, they get like a coughing kind of sickness, disease, and everything. And so Travis and Lane were from the same town. This is an age gap. He's older. She's, you know, a younger girl that kind of grew up in the same town as him. He was a mechanic. So they didn't really, like, they knew of each other, but they didn't really know each other. Their town ended up leaving to kind of go to this, I think it was Fort Knox. I can't remember, but they ended up going, they're on their way to go to, so it's a safer area. Because you have a lot of, like, Ravagers and these people that are, like, gangs, you know, motorcycle gangs that kind of go after people. And so they're on their way to go do that. They stayed back because his child was dying from that sickness, and then one of her parents, I can't remember which one, was dying as well. And so they both stay back till they die. And then they are going to go at the same time. He kind of runs into her on the road and says, you know, why don't we travel together? Because he's really worried about her traveling on her own. She doesn't even want to trust him and travel with him, but they end up coming to that agreement. And it's kind of like this road trip, shared bed, first proximity, and they basically like fall for each other. She kind of propositions like, hey, why don't we like have a sexual relationship? But in typical Claire Kent fashion, you got that grumpy, stoic, like a man that doesn't think he's worth it, like he's worthy of the woman, and he's just very like, he's very grump. But she's like this young, vibrant, beautiful girl, and she wants to have sex. She didn't really get to have that being young and going through the apocalypse. And so she's like, you know, wants to have sex. And so they end up having this slow burn build while they're doing this road trip. And it was just really beautiful. I love this romance. I love the writing. It was just so easy to read and get into. So I definitely recommend this. If you haven't read the Kindle series, I would read this first because that's in the same world as this, but they're like shorter novella kind of books. And then the next book that I have is Bound by Hatred by Cora Reily. And this is Gianna and Matteo. Gianna kind of got on my nerves a little bit, but I still like her character. She is the grump and Matteo is the sunshine. This is an arranged marriage. She wants nothing to do with it. She hates Matteo. She doesn't want to be married. She doesn't want to be part of the mafia. And her father like is forcing her into this, and her father is a piece of shit. But she ends up kind of running away and going overseas to like try and get away from Matteo, and he chases her down and finds her. And so these innocent people end up, like the guy she was kind of making out with and stuff, get killed in the process. And so she feels pretty guilty because she literally put people's lives in danger by doing that. But she wants nothing to do with Matteo. She's pretty bitchy to him. She's grumpy. She is a prickly heroine. And Matteo is just like, you know, flirtatious and sexy and fun. And so he like, but he's dangerous too. He can get it. So I really, really liked this book. I thought it was interesting to have, you know, the female grump. And so I would definitely recommend it. I do really enjoy that series. And then we have Unraveling Him by Claire Kingsley. This is the Bailey brothers. This is book number 3. I loved this book so much. You have Evan and Fiona. Evan is one of the grumpiest grumps I've ever seen in a book. He's so grumpy. He rebuilds custom cars, and Fiona, like her dad, would have her work on cars and everything, and she's trying to get out of working for her father because he's doing illegal stuff again that she wasn't okay with. And she happened to be with him when he went to go see Evan on another car situation. So she kind of goes to him for help, and she needs to work on her car. She just needs a place to do it. And so he offers to let her work there. And then she helps him because he needs to find a new car because her dad sold him like a stolen car and he didn't know, and he needed it for a show. So she ends up staying with him and working on her car there. And she was just so adorable. She's like speaks to plants and she's all sunshine and happiness, and Evan is just broody AF. He kind of secludes himself out in his like little cabin that he lives in the middle of nowhere away from his brothers, and they're always trying to force him to be like with the family and everything. So this was a really, really cute small town romance. I definitely recommend this. I haven't continued the series, but I loved this book. And then I have a popular one, and that is A Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. So this is a Grump Sunshine. I think it's a Reily fanfic, I guess people say, but I don't really fully see it. I think, yeah, it looks like Adam Driver right there, but so this is between Adam and Olive. It's a fake dating in the workplace kind of thing. He's like this grumpy teacher that's like one of the hard ass teachers of the school that everybody kind of hates because he's so tough on everybody. And she basically kind of forcibly kisses him one night because she wants her friend to date like this guy she previously dated, but she didn't really like him. She knows her friend likes him, so she was like, didn't, you know, want her to think she couldn't date the guy. And so she had told her, oh, I'm on a date, blah, 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 trying to let her know she moved on. Well, she was actually working, and her friend is coming around the corner and going to see her at work. So she grabs Adam and basically kisses him in front of her friend and says, like, they're dating. And then everybody's, like, thrown off, like, why she's dating the asshole teacher guy. But Adam has actually been like pining for her and had a crush on her for a long time. And so he's just this grumpy asshole, and she's all sunshine and sweet. And it's a really cute romance. You know, it's not fully my type of thing, but I did enjoy it. It was really cute. So this is a recent read that I read that blew me away. It kind of made me want to do this part 2 again because I read Our Thing and Cosa Nostra. This is the actual like duet because this series, like the first 2 books revolves around one couple. So this is the duet out of that series. And this is a mafia romance. This is between Max Butcher and Cassidy. She's a ballerina. He's a part of the mafia. She's had a crush on him for a while. He doesn't really know she existed, but once she comes into his orbit, he becomes very interested, and they basically start to kind of date. He didn't want a girlfriend, but he can't stay away from her. Things happen at the end of the first book where she's attacked and hurt and stuff. So the second book, honestly, I cried multiple times reading the second book, which is weird because I don't cry in books, but I just love their romance. Max is very broody. He's, you know, very silent, grumpy. She's this young, like beautiful ballerina and just very positive. And so she brings a lot of light and breaks down his walls. He's also the type of hero that doesn't like tell you he loves you. He shows you, and he is very possessive and protective, and he's one of my top book boyfriends now. So I would definitely recommend this duet. Check it out. And then the final book I have is Lisa Kleypas, Dreaming of You. So this book was so amazing. I get the hype for it. I finally read it this year, and I think I gave it like 6 stars on this. This is Derek Craven, one of the most hyped Lisa Kleypas heroes, and he's a gaming club owner, super wealthy, self-made man, but he's very angry, grumpy, doesn't trust people. He basically falls for Sarah. She's an author, and she was out researching kind of like prostitutes and all that kind of gaming lifestyle. She ends up saving Derek from being attacked one night, and he agrees to let her kind of come to his club to kind of do research and talk to the people there. And so they kind of have this slow build relationship. He tries to push her away. I mean, he was like left in a dream pipe by his mother. So he's a very closed off kind of asshole hero. But those are the kind I love. And he's super protective over her and possessive. And I just loved him so much. So I would definitely recommend this. I'm sure you've read it because everybody has. But Derek Craven definitely like held up for me. And I would definitely recommend this for Grumpy Sunshine. So those are the Grumpy Sunshine recs I have for this video. Hopefully I'll be doing more soon because I read a lot of them. Thank you so much for watching this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one.